Hey guys, thanks for checking out Quick Sessions Podcast. My name's Garrett Terrio, coming to you from the new Timberline Fitness Studio in Houston, Texas. And today, I just finished reading this book. It's about this guy, David Goggins. Now, he's real big on social media. He's this former Navy SEAL, but he does all these marathons and ultra races, and I think he just did the Moab 240 or whatever it's called. So that's the fitness aspect of this, to be honest. But the book is a biography about himself, how he grew up, and I'll try not to give too much away, but it is a biography. It's not like there's a bunch of spoilers or nothing you can't just Google. But it does have some lessons at the end I will kind of touch on. So in general, the way it starts, in a nutshell, he grew up, shitty dad, beat him up, his mom up. Mom eventually gets out with the help of the community. They moved to Indiana, but of course, they're broke. They have nothing to their name. Very racist in Indiana at the time, so he's dealing with all that. And he's a real good basketball player, so that kind of keeps him in line, right, from becoming, he describes himself as this fake thug, right? He never really gets into trouble, but he wants to act like he's a hard ass. Well, after basketball, after high school, he wasn't the brightest guy. I think he's dyslexic and he had a stutter and all that stuff. Well, he wanted to go in the Army. Well, he took the ASVAB test and just bombed it. So that's kind of out the rearview window. So it's kind of just another thing in this kid's life that I've summed up, where things just aren't working out, shitty situation, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, the guy goes on, he gains, 150 pounds. He's 300 plus at this point, and he's an exterminator. So he's going about his business, and I guess one day he just has a revelation watching these Navy SEAL shows you've seen on TV, these Army shows. So he decides, and he's in his mid-20s now, he decides, let me give this another shot. And so he calls around, and no recruiter's really giving him the time of day because he's super overweight. He did so bad on the ASVAB test, all that kind of stuff. Well, he finds one recruiter who finally gives him a shot. Says, okay, well, you got to score 50 on the ASVAB test, and you have to lose 106 pounds in 3 months. And that's where the real fitness part comes into this book. And he doesn't go into how he did it, but he did it, right? And first of all, I'm not saying anybody should lose 100 pounds in 3 months, right? There's probably a lot of healthier, easier, efficient ways to do it. But this guy's on a time crunch. He's got 3 months, and he just does everything he can and actually pulls it off. It's pretty incredible. And from there, he goes into the SEALs. He has to do 3 hell weeks because he has to drop from injuries. Then he couldn't finish that. He finishes Hell Week, but then he can't finish the basic training because of a broken kneecap or something like that. Anyway, he finally gets through. He does Ranger School. He does all kinds of stuff. But the point of all this up to this point is the failures he goes through. So he goes through all these failures. And his whole mindset on this is hardening your mind. You could say getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, but he focuses on the mental toughness part of it. And sometimes it can go overboard. Sometimes it gets obsessive. So I'm not saying by any means anybody should live their life like David Goggins. There's actually very few people who would benefit from living a life and having the attitude of David Goggins. Now, I think there is plenty to take from his story. He turned his life around. Everybody can appreciate that. He does all these great races, and he's a top competitor, and he's become the social media personality, a best-selling author. So it worked for him, right? But at the same time, some of this stuff you just can't do, right? If you're married and have 2 kids and a job, you can't just run for 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? So there are sacrifices. You have to decide, do I want to be this David Goggins character, or do I just want to, take some of the stuff he said and apply it to my life? And that's kind of where I stand on it. And I wouldn't encourage people to throw it all away just to go for this one goal, right? Like, let's put yourself in a scenario. Let's say you want to lose 100 pounds, just like David Goggins did. Doing it in 3 months means you leave your wife behind, your kid behind, your job behind, because he's unemployed while he's doing all this. And that stuff in just today's society, we're just not going to do. Now, lose 100 pounds in a year, you can do that with a job, a wife, and kids. Takes a ton of discipline. So that's what I mean by the obsessive part. Like, you can't exactly be in the situation to do what this guy did, but you shouldn't. But some of the stuff he says about the stuff you've heard before, right? I don't want to wake up early and go run. No kidding, you don't want to wake up early and go run. But you harden your mind to just deal with, I'm going to be uncomfortable, and you just go do it. That's the kind of stuff that I think if you have a goal, a fitness goal particularly, but it could even be a career goal. Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, I'll steal that phrase, is a great thing to have your mind hardened to. And not trying to be an opinion person, but it just seems like one of those no-brainers, right? It seems like something where, and it's because I've dealt with a lot of people trying to lose weight, and there's all the excuses, right? Well, I have so much work, I work all the time, or, I didn't have time to get this in, that in. But in this story, he talks about, running to his work, showering, then on his lunch break running again, and then after work running home or riding his bike home or something. So you clearly can squeeze it in, but it's the number one excuse is time. And it is an excuse. Well, everybody wishes they had more time, but it's how are you going to deal with that lack of time? Are you just going to make the excuse and quit, or are you going to do everything you can to squeeze in that extra little bit, right? And if it's not worth it to you, it's not worth it to you. That's fine. But I think one of the things he talks about in this book that applies to the gym is there's so many self-fulfilling prophecies, or you think you just need to do this and you'll get this. And the truth is there is no easy way to lose weight, for instance. If you want to lose weight, it's like, okay, it's going to not be fun. You're going to be tired. You're going to be hungry. There's no, people pitch, I lost weight eating everything I like. It's like, no, you did not. I don't want to hear it. In general, in anybody's career who's listening to this, nothing came easy, right? School wasn't just so easy that you never had to struggle, right? Getting the job wasn't easy. Nothing's easy that's worth having at all. And you've heard that a million times. And like I said, I'm not trying to be a preachy opinion person, but it's kind of just a fact of life. Even if you were born with, all the money in the world, you still had struggles. And how you dealt with the struggles ultimately turned you into who you are and helped you with struggles going forward. And that's kind of what I got from the book. There's a ton of fitness in it because he's running races and all that, so it's relatable. So if your goal is to run a marathon, he talks about running his first marathon, his first ultra marathon, his first triathlon, and he talks about the mindset going through all that. So if you're really looking for not motivation, but just kind of reading about someone, it's not a happy book, I'll be very clear, but it is things when I'm on my run, when I'm listening to this, like, man, look what this guy's doing, and I'm thinking about cutting my run short, no way. And, it's maybe kind of silly, but it is something where just hearing another guy doing it, or a girl, can help give you that little extra push that's not comfortable, it's not easy, but it's that little extra that'll keep you going. Anyway, it's a good book. It's called Can't Hurt Me. David Goggins. You'll see him on Instagram. He's a big motivational guy, or he's a pump you up guy, really. He will make you feel lazy anytime you're on his Instagram account. But anyway, guys, thanks for checking it out. The book's cool. Read it, listen to it. If you have a big goal you want to set, or you want to see kind of how someone else who's become successful through his career and fitness goals, kind of how he thinks. I'll reiterate, not everybody should live their life that way. The guy's on his, third marriage and stuff like that. So, he doesn't talk to his brother. Maybe he just started talking to his brother again. So I'm not saying this guy's he's not Jesus, right? But as far as hardening your mind in the sense of so that you can get in shape, it's a nice little read. It's a quick read, not a fun read, not a happy read by any means. But guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Check us out, Apple Pod Center, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play. And I'll see you guys next time.